Hey everyone, we wanted to give you a quick update on some of the new features we've been implementing. Everything you're going to see in this video is still definitely a work in progress. We're working on the pathfinding right now and the art's still being implemented. But we wanted to give a demonstration on the dialogue system and the aptitudes. So first, to give a brief rundown on the bottom HUD, there are 3 books on the bottom left. There's an aptitude book, a spell book, and a combat book. And these have the skills and spells you have available. You can swap things out from there as far as combat skills go, and then the aptitude and spells you can select to use. So these are the 6 aptitudes. We have Harbinger, Song Weaving, Woodwise, Philosophy, Linguistics, and Herbology. You can use them from here, and you don't actually need any points in them to use these in the environment, but some of the more difficult operations you'll have with them will probably fail if you don't. These are the spells you have available from your spell book. I believe this is just grade 1, but after you unlock more grades, you'll be able to scroll to the right and see additional spells. And you can cast these unlimited amounts of times throughout the battle, but you hold them. And the last book is the combat book, with the 3 skills on top being the 3 skills you actively have, and you can swap them out with the bottom ones that are available to you that you have to purchase with skill points. And you can do that throughout battle or outside of battle. And I'll go through the inventory quick too. We found a good solution, we thought, for a lot of the party-based inventory problems that we kind of didn't like in other games. And we kind of made a group inventory at the bottom of the screen, so if you ever want to swap items between people, you can just throw it down into the group, and then everybody has the same access to that pool. So on the right-hand side is an inventory description field for any item you click on. And on the left-hand side are some stats from your character sheet that items can affect, including your weapon speed, your combat damage, your armor class, and your occult armor class, which defends against magic. And below that is the emerald count. All right, so we'll go to the inn and we'll show off the dialogue system and the aptitude uses. We started putting together Orv's Bridge first. It's the first district you see in the game, and we're still kind of compiling a lot of the art we're going to use for it. But with Unity, we're able to get a ton of detail and a ton of different objects in here for the environment. So this scene is just kind of touching the surface of all the art we have planned for all the maps in the game. Once we get Unity Pro, we'll be able to get a lot of shadows and lighting effects, and it'll look really great. The buildings are interesting. Some of them have their own maps that will take you to a different scene completely, but these smaller ones kind of just have a takeaway roof that goes away, so you can just kind of walk inside easily from the outdoors. So this tavern scene we set up takes place in a town that's pretty close to where you start out. There isn't a lot of story elements here, but it's a good opportunity for the player to pick up new party members. And it also gives them kind of an idea of the current kind of trade route situation that's happening from the large port town to the south in Coram that goes all the way north to the top of the Staglands. And a lot of sellswords are taking caravans through here, of which one is camped out here for the night, and you have the option of trying to take one of the caravan leader's sellswords and hire him on your own. So there's a few ways we can go about doing this in this conversation while talking to him. There's kind of a violent approach, and there's a skillful approach that uses some aptitudes, or there's more of an exploration approach to figuring out a good way to do this. But we'll start with Harbinger, and so we're going to ask him if he's going to get violent, if we get violent with his caravan leader, and he said that's fine. So on the table next to the caravan leader we talked to before is a wine glass, which is an example of an interactive environmental object that we have that you can deploy your aptitudes on. These will do anything from affecting people around them, kind of changing the environment. They can be used to completely get out of combat situations, which this is a poor example of, but they're a fun way of going through the game without necessarily using combat as your only alternative to completing a quest. So we used Harbinger on that glass, and we have a few different options. And that top option will be something that often happens when you use Harbinger on food items or drink items that you might find around. But these bottoms, the bottom pieces are completely unique to this interaction. And so we're going to try to throw at the guy's face and see what happens here. Well, we didn't have any points in Harbinger, and so this aptitude check failed, and in a situation where if we would have successfully done that, he probably would have run away. In this case, he became hostile, and now he's attacking us. So we're going to try this again and see if there's a way we can get our sellsword without just cutting this guy down. Okay, so we're going to talk to our sellsword we'd like to hire again. And this time, ask maybe if there's anything we could find, in this case, to persuade the caravan leader to let him go, let his seasonal contract end and let him join us. And we can go into his room, and in the dresser, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have a new scroll inventory item that he said might pertain to some illegal things that the caravan leader is carrying. Okay, so let's talk to the caravan merchant again now that we have some proof of his illicit activity. And we can see that this is great. We can get out of this without fighting him. We could get our contract for Andre, but instead we could try to turn him in as well and possibly get more of a reward for this. So that wasn't necessarily a great outcome either, but we will try a different one that doesn't involve such direct conflict. All right, so we'll try talking to the sellsword again, let him know that we're going to try to get his contract. And that'll allow us to use that glass again in a specific manner against the caravan leader. We will we'll definitely put like an overlay on that so that's easier to see, but once again, this is pretty early art. So now if we use herbology on it, we can do Neville Proud and use our skill, of which we do have 2 of for this character, I believe, and poison the drink. And he drinks it right away, dies. The other sellsword that usually attacks us doesn't know what happened, so he is not hostile to us this time. And we can talk to Andre, and he is able to join us. There's a couple ways that happens, and we'll talk about that in text just to keep this video a little shorter. In this case, he joins us just fine. We pay him a little bit, and he is a party member that we can choose to keep around for as long as we want. And yeah, that is a small example of how some aptitudes can be used throughout the environments through certain quests. This is just happened to getting a party member. This isn't a big question or anything, but just shows that there's a few ways we're planning on how to deal with most situations, and all of them will net you enough experience to make them worthwhile in different ways, depending on how you're developing your character. For the future, we're planning on doing more updates now that we're getting back into more art and coding right now. Once we finish up our new pathfinding, we're going to be doing a combat build, hopefully soon, and we'll be doing frequent ones before and after that. Thanks again, everyone, for how much you've been contributing with this campaign and this project. We've had a tremendous amount of support so far, and we're looking forward to more of your ideas and feedback in the future.